get jobs as extra? Because I know they make movies around here.
Yeah.
Just, I kind of want to get out and do some things, and I thought this really sounded interesting.
Right.
You're gonna have to read all these books. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry I'm late. Had a conference call in LA, and those things always take way too long. But it was something I needed to take care of. But guys, get used to waiting, because you're gonna have to do a lot of waiting in this business. That's all I gotta tell you. Anyway, I want to get one of these to you. I want you guys to be very familiar with this by the time you come to class next time. I've got Angel Morales. That's okay.
Thanks.
Christopher Jablinski.
That's me.
Right here. All right.
Thanks.
Sally Schroeder. Sally Schroeder. Yeah, there you are. Florence Bunten. Okay, and Robert Jerdee. Yeah. Okay. What's with all the French people in here? I thought we were in San Antonio.
It's Norwegian.
Figured he'd be the Norwegian. I'm sure you're looking over the resume there, and you're very familiar, I'm sure, with a lot of those credits. Yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you, when you did Ambassador to Love, you had a really risque sex scene. I just wanted to ask what that was like.
Oh, well, that chick was nuts. She was crazy. I mean, sometimes you got to work with chicks who are like on crack or stoned out of their fucking minds. But anyway, no, it's just, that's one of the things I'm going to teach you guys. It's what they don't teach you in acting school, how to work with losers. And you're not going to be one of those losers. That's why you're here, all right? You're going to be a winner. All right, why are we here? I was auditioning in LA. It was like the late 80s for a Scorsese picture. I believe it's probably one that many people are familiar with. It won a couple of Oscars. And I'm looking at all these other guys around me, and I'm thinking, what a bunch of schlubs. What a bunch of schlubs. They're not gonna get this job. I'm gonna get the job. Because at the time, I thought I had the sauce. The sauce didn't exist then, all right? So they call my name, Denny Perlman. I go in. The director is sitting right there. Yeah, Marty Scorsese is sitting right there. I walk in, I see him there, and I freeze. Never happened before in my life. He acknowledged me, as a true professional does, and he went, proceed. And I'm like, I didn't have a script because I don't take scripts into auditions with me, and I didn't know what to do. So I just start speaking incoherently. I'm mumbling, and I stopped myself. And Marty said, you can start over again if you want. But his time is valuable. His time's more valuable than my time. So respectfully, as a professional, I turned around and I left that room. I just went home. I quit the job I had at the time in order to make some bucks. I broke up with my girlfriend. She just got a hit NBC sitcom. I said, no, I'm going, and I came back here to San Antonio with my head between my knees. In San Antonio, a couple of years, worked on a couple of projects, wrote some screenplays, did some stuff like that, And I'm sitting at home, and the train used to go back and forth. And I hear, Denny, Denny, the call of the train. And so I walked out in the front yard, and I walked towards the tracks, and I stood there in front of the train as it's coming. The train's coming, and I stand there right there, and I'm looking forward, and I see the engineer right in front of me, and I see his face, and you would think that it would be my life flashing before my eyes, right before my demise, but no, it's the engineer. I see his face, I see his life, his wife, everything he's done in his life, his favorite movies, you name it. He's looking at me, and I jumped off the tracks. I came to 20 minutes later, and I realized that was the face of God that I saw. And God was telling me, no, you need to keep going with this. You need to spread what you know right now. And I said, God, I don't know anything. And he said, yes, you do. And right there, he anointed me with the sauce. I'm going to anoint each of you with the sauce as well today. And here we are in this holy building, appropriately. So anyway, I just have one more thing to say. That was all bullshit. That was the sauce, okay? That was the sauce. That's why you're here, right, folks? That's why you're here, all right? So one thing I want you guys to avoid is self-aware deception, all right? Because if you do that, that's very sad. What am I talking about? You can read all of these books if you want to, but you don't need to. because this guy started off in Russia. This one didn't think this one did what he wanted him to do, so these people broke off and did this, and these guys over here decided they weren't going to talk to each other, and these guys over here decided they didn't like each other. This one over here decided to form his own, blah, 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 blah. No, forget it. You're here to learn the sauce. I'm going to give you all the sauce. I'm going to spray it down your fucking throats. And you're going to appreciate it, and you're going to love me for it. All right, I want you all to learn that monologue, look over my resume again, and be ready for next class. Have that monologue memorized, by the way.